Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Sales Dojo here in Cedar Park, Texas, Medicare Gurus. Thank you all for joining. Especially thank you to those Gurus career agents. We now have some participation that they're going to be listening in. And for those career agents that are listening in right now, don't forget that we are going to be having a special session after this Dojo session in your Zoom link following this meeting. Today we have a special guest, Jacob Crotty. Jacob, welcome.
Howdy.
We were just talking about music. We're big music guys, and before we kind of talk about, what our topic is for today, it's going to kind of tie in. Tell me about like your music habits. Like, how do you listen to music? You Spotify? You drive in the morning on Spotify? Like, what is your music repertoire during the day?
I tell you what, I'm getting old though.
Okay, why? Why has it changed?
I don't like listening to music anymore when I'm driving.
What?
It's just podcasts.
Okay.
I've got 3 podcasts that I rotate through. You and me are fans of one, which is Bands Playing.
Right.
I have my stand-up comedy podcast, and if I'm feeling the mood for it, sports podcast.
Okay.
But I can't do music anymore and drive.
Interesting.
I'm just old. I tell you what, it's so bad when I don't have service, I listen to AM radio.
You don't even go to...
I skip FM. I don't know who Justice Beaver. That's a great Office quote. Thank you.
Yep. He's a crime-fighting beaver.
Exactly. But yeah, I guess I'm just getting old, man.
Yeah.
It's what it is. And it's a habit now too, because I've got the old, in my old truck, I got the rigged up Bluetooth that's in the cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
That connects through a radio station.
Yeah.
So every time I start my truck, I plug it in and it automatically connects to Spotify, and Spotify starts playing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll forget to take it out, and then my truck will just still be playing. So
that's so funny.
That's my listening habit nowadays as a newly 30-year-old man. Yeah. Is talk shows, podcasts, AM radio.
Well, here in the office, we are all convinced that you are a 75-year-old trapped in a 30-year-old body. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Yeah, you are an old man by heart.
I mean, I did get a Peloton, so it does take off 20 years, right?
Okay, that's
fair. There was a lady when I did my first ride yesterday that was like 60 and had a better score than I did. But I'm like, maybe she's done it for a few years. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Spotify fan myself. I'm a podcaster too. I have different podcasts, but I like creating playlists. But what I've been doing now is I've been getting into a particular band and then just going to their live show that they have and just looking at their playlist from the live show and making a playlist of that set list. So I'll listen to, it's not the live show obviously, but it's all their tracks of the songs that they've played. So I did War on Drugs, I did Wilco, I did Flaming Lips, like all these bands that I've been touring for a long time that I don't really want to deep dive into their album. I'll just go to a live show and I'll just look at all the songs that they've played and I'll just create a playlist and just listen to that through. It's been really, really great. Lots of fun. Now, tying it back to what we're talking about today, which is habits. How can an agent begin to form good habits? And how do they know that these habits are good habits?
I think you just got to keep to your regimen, man. It's so simple to think of it that way, but really, if you have an intro that works, why would you say, let me deviate away from it? If it works, it works. If you close, and just how I was teaching Christopher here, I was like, that was I was hyping myself up in chat. I was like, that was a perfect takeaway. So I was like, it's going to be 138. And she was like, oh my God, that'd be terrific. And I go, but I don't know if you qualify. Sorry. And
perfect.
She's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I was like, that was good.
Did you whisper?
Send it in the chat. But no, it's stuff that once it works, and it works, you just have to keep doing it. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to leave a voicemail of me singing or me being like, hey, let's have a debate of the 1992 best album of all time.
Right.
For that year. I'm not going to do that. If I have something that works, I'm going to use it. So within finding these habits, you can really find out pretty quick whether something's good or not. Where take your intro, for example, somebody hangs up on you, maybe you're the problem. Yeah. Maybe it's you. Yeah. Maybe switch something then and try it. But if your intro works and that leads to your discovery that works and everything works there, then you're fine building that base and building that habit of succeeding.
Quick aside, was there a unanimous best album of 1992? I know they broke it down categorically.
No, there wasn't one.
Okay.
It wasn't. It was a good.
His individual
It was a good little
participant.
mixture. I'll say this: August and everything after didn't win, so I was like, "This is a waste of 2-hour podcast."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's okay. to each their own. Thank you, Counting Crows.
Yeah. Right. So talking about habits now, I want to focus on new agents because they're going to be focusing on calls. Like they want to say, all right, how many, like say I'm a new agent, right? And I'm like, how many dials do I have to make before I get results? How many hours on the phone do I have to fill in before I can start seeing results? You and I both know that answer is indeterminate. But how can you help these agents say, we need concrete answers to be successful? How do you deter that?
I mean, I remember when I first started doing that, and I would have really heavy call days. Where you might get some that ring a lot. You might be leaving a whole lot of voicemails. I remember this is back in Cedar Park at our rent house, where I was on the second story and my desk was right by a window, and I would have the window open, and I would just like blare trap music. Mm-hmm. Just to keep my energy up, just to be happy. But the only time that I would play it was when it rings. Uh-huh. When something picked up or anything like that, boom, pause, good to go. But guess what? It kept my spirits up. Yeah. And I didn't just hear ring, 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 and then go, huh. Yeah. Or then leave a voicemail and go, huh. No, because I had that energy just throughout the day, and that, different variables within it kept me going. Yeah. Just like when somebody would pick up, I'd even do the thing where it's like, holy cow. Hey, man, how's it going? Yeah. I haven't talked to anybody today. You're the lucky one. And then usually people get kind of scared. Right. Because you're like, well, this guy talks a lot. I'm like, oh, you have no idea, buddy. Right. But just like it's all very relative to you. But once you get into that groove, you don't want to get yourself out of it. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so important, especially early morning, that you are just blasting through voicemails, because the morning sets up the afternoon. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you have a piss poor morning, or you're just, goofing off, call every 5-10 minutes or so, when 1 o'clock rolls around, you're going to have nothing. Nobody's going to call in. So it's finding that groove that works for you. If that is smile and dial, you might make 100 calls in an hour. I do not suggest that at all, because then obviously you're not putting any work into your voicemails, into your intros, anything like that. You really want to shoot for. Think about working 8 hours a day. I'm terrible at math. That'd be what? 15 calls an hour to hit 100 or so. 15 calls an hour is, if you're going strictly off of numbers, that's not a lot. Now, it usually rings for a minute. Voicemail should be a minute. There's 2. Theoretically, you can leave 30. If you're just bang, bang, bang. But it's, especially when it is habitual, you want to keep doing the thing that is working, but you also have to recognize when you're doing something that isn't working. Mm-hmm. That's the hard part, is when you're stuck in the bad habit, because the bad habits will kill you. They will. They'll rip you from this industry. They'll take every bit of learning, everything you did, take you away. What's an example of a bad habit? I'll throw my boy under the bus here, okay. Christopher. Okay. Lately, I've been telling him, I'm like, look, you got your commission breath. You really do. You're not talking as you normally do. You're not engaging with people and finding out about them. You really have to start doing it. So for him, he would be like, hey, Steven, it's Christopher here. How's it going? Usually you'd be good. And he goes, okay, well, just to let you know, the reason for the call is I am a Medicare advocate and I am located in Texas. Click. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's not you. Yeah. Like, this for an example, because back when you didn't do that, your intro was perfect. And you kept them on the line, whether they were healthy or not, whether they bought something or not, you kept them there because you kept pushing. You didn't come out the gate and start talking about, do you have your healthcare situation taken care of in the first 2 minutes? Right. You did none of that. But it's when I can see it, because I'm observing there. It's difficult for him to see it, though, because he is new. So my advice to anybody new that is doing that is what you said today. I heard you say it to somebody on the phone. Look at your average talk time, if you can. Definitely keep records of this. Because if your average talk time is 2 minutes, your issue is the intro. Yeah. If it's 10 minutes, it's the discovery. If it's 20 minutes, maybe it's the close. Whatever it is. But you have to be able to pick up when some of those are forming. So I'd say at least once a week, take a look at that data.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that today, and we can talk about it now, but we're going to focus more on it with our Gurus agents, is the two metrics that we use. I know we don't like to use KPIs, but this is for them. They think that, I need to dial 100 times, I'm going to be successful. And I said, no, the two metrics that you want to look at are the average talk time per day and the average talk time per call. And so when you look at the average talk time per day, if you're doing, 45 minutes or an hour a day, if that means you're not calling enough. Okay, you're not engaging enough. If you are looking at your average talk time per call as 2 minutes or 3 minutes, then okay, well, I'm getting people on the phone, but I'm not keeping them on the phone. So these are two very important metrics that they need to be responsible for in order to see their success. And I tell them, check that every day. Just go and see how you did every day. How long were you on the phone all day, and what was your average per call? Because you'll be able to determine how your day was based on those numbers.
Exactly. I mean, I had one when I walked out to go to my Canada trip. So this is the day after AEP. It's in the office this day. I was walking out, and somebody at their desk was like, look at how many calls I've made this week. I'm about to hit 1,000, and it's Thursday. And I just go, cool. And they go, what's wrong? And I go, look at that number. And it was average talk time. And we'll get theoretical here, but if you have a 40-hour work week and your job is to be on the phone, then to do the best week possible, you would have 40 hours of talk time in a week.
Yeah.
This case here, this individual's talk time was like 7 hours for a whole week.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I made 800 calls. Well, no. You're trying to find something to justify you doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're trying to justify zero and not selling anything. Instead of taking
a pride
a look
thing
in,
rather than a...
Exactly. It's a not me, it's a you breakup.
Yeah.
But that's why I went and I go, okay, congrats. You made almost 1,000 calls this week. Perfect. What's your average talk time? It's 7, or not even that. I mean, total talk time for that week is like 7-8 hours at that point. I go, that's what's more concerning with me. I know you can pick up the phone. Terrific, great job. A lot of robots can, but you're having an issue making a relationship. And that is where you are going to run amok if you don't get it addressed. So that's with bad habits. I say, don't fool yourself.
That's a good one.
With your metrics.
Yeah.
Don't. Because if you want to focus on one thing, take say this. Say you are Bryce Harper, who is one of the most handsome men alive.
Agreed.
He is a Philadelphia legend in the making. He's a Washington, D.C. legend already.
Right.
If he walked every at bat, his on-base percentage would be the greatest on-base percentage ever. What would his average be?
0.
0.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me, wow, I can make all these calls, I can get on base. Look at me, I'm on base. I'm a runner, I'm on base. I'm like, terrific. Your OBP is 1,000.
Yeah.
You're doing great, sweetie. How many hits have you had? Well, I haven't hit anything because I've walked every single at bat. Oh, so your average is 0. You haven't even touched the ball.
Yeah.
No, I haven't, but I get on base.
Yeah.
Same mentality.
Yeah, that's true. So let's talk about this. So we have those habits of call time and call average. Okay. The next thing. Now the agents have bought into this. Okay. Let's talk about buy-in. Okay. You were talking earlier about getting agents to get their clients to buy in. Can you kind of explain what that means in terms of the conversation?
I mean, really, you got to know your stuff, but know yourself first. You have to have a confidence. I don't care if you're the least confident person ever. If you are just such an introvert, if you sound like you know what you're doing and you have the confidence in yourself, people are they're gonna flock to you.
Yeah, I was talking to an agent today, and the agent was like, I'm having a lot of issues with confidence. I said, what's going on? And she said, well, I'm nervous that when they ask me a question and I don't know the answer. I said, okay. And when it comes to coaching, I've been coaching for a long time. You and I have been coaching for a long time. We say, instead of trying to fix a problem because they're not receptive to it, say, okay, why? Why do you get like that? Mm-hmm. Why is it that you get so afraid of answering a question why do you get so afraid that you can't answer a question? And she's like, well, I just want to give them the answer. I said, do you think it matters? Do you think it matters that you know the answer or not? Are they buying your knowledge or are they buying you? Mm-hmm. And that clicked for her. And that's the next thing that we want to focus on. And what time is it? We have just a little bit. We're
12:15.
Okay, we got plenty of time. Okay. So what we want to focus on next is confidence. Like how to build on that confidence. And I told her, I said, look, it does not matter if you have the answer. You say to them, that's a great question. Let me look it up. And you have all the resources in front of you. The only thing that you have is your sound. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that you have. You can't get those good looks over the phone. Okay? It's only your voice. So when they hear your ahs and your ums and your lack of confidence in even answering questions, does it even matter that you know the answer? She's like, nope. So my next conversation, talking about buy-in is, what do you think are some things that can help these agents build on their confidence?
I think you have to realize when you have a little win and celebrate that little win and go, you know what? Okay, I got that one. Every good intro, you get through an intro, you get into a discovery. That's a win right there. I don't care, call it a participation trophy, whatever it is. The more that you can stack those on top of each other, the better it's going to be. Because if you can win one, another baseball, 7-game series, okay? You get that very first win, that intro, you're on a good pace. You get down to the discovery, you fumble a little bit, you might have lost game 2. Mm-hmm. All that matters is by the end of it, out of that 7-game series, that you win the last game, because then that means you get the sale. So in order to build that confidence up, you got to realize what you're doing is difficult. You are selling over the phone and people cannot see your face. You don't know what they look like, even though I can envision how some of these people look. Mm-hmm. I still don't know unless they send me pictures, which people have,
right?
Which are very lovely. But it's really hard to imagine.
Yeah,
it really is, because it is a win to make a friend with a stranger. There's a story about Mike Leach that you might have told here with I think it was Lincoln Riley when he was working with them, and somebody called Coach's phone. He picks up, he answers it. He said he talks to him for about 30 minutes. Then phone disconnects. He calls the guy back. Hey man, I think we got disconnected. So okay, talks to him for like an hour. And Coach hangs up the phone, and Lane Kiffin goes, or Lincoln Riley, whoever it was, goes, Coach, who was that? And he goes, somebody had a wrong number.
Yeah.
He goes, he would literally talk to strangers for hours.
Yeah.
That's how you need to be. That is what is going to set you apart from all these other agents doing it, because the other agents don't care.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just looking to flip them and not have a relationship with them, versus these people are craving personal attention. Mm-hmm. So work your wins throughout the call. If you're having a bad day on an intro, and then at 4:59 or 5:59, whenever your last call is, if you get through that first 5 minutes, you need to be dapping yourself up.
Yeah.
You need to be celebrating, because guess what? That was your hurdle for the day. That was, but guess what you're ending on? You overcame it.
Yeah.
You did the darn thing.
Yeah.
So just always have that frame of mind that there is a win in everything. When I did that recommendation with the takeaway, where she's like, oh my God, that'd be perfect. And then stopped her right there and goes, but I don't know if you qualify. And she goes,
yeah.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I haven't had anybody gasp like, oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
I can't? I'm like, yeah,
we don't know yet.
I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that was my win.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a habit, yes. But to have that reaction, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you got to find the little things that make you smile, make you be positive, because nobody wants to talk to Eeyore.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk to the depressed person. They don't want to talk to somebody who doesn't have any flair. They don't want to talk to anybody like that, because they get calls like that all the time from these big call centers, or just people who speak broken English. just be a person. That's why when I do my intro, I don't even say Medicare gurus.
Yeah.
Why? Because they got to buy me first before I can help them with anything.
So you just say, hey, this is Jacob Crotty.
Go,
How you doing?
Hey, Steven, it's Jacob Crotty here. How's it going?
Good.
And then go.
Yeah.
I don't say, well, hi, I'm a Medicare advocate. Just, hey, just got a request for help. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah.
And approach it at that level where we are peers. That's a big thing, too. When you talk about confidence, you have to approach it as peers. You cannot put these people on a pedestal. You cannot put yourself on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you are peer-leveled individuals who are coming to solve a problem. That is how you have to do it.
So make a note, okay? When you get somebody on the phone, your mindset should be that this is a peer-to-peer conversation. You are not coming in as an agent trying to fix a problem. You are not coming in as a servant trying to appease a master. You're coming in as two people who are going to work on a situation together. Mm-hmm. And you're right. That's exactly right, because that's where I've had my most success. It's like, look, and using this vocabulary too, and this helped me. I would never say I'm going to submit or I'm going to review your application. I always say we're. I always put plural. Like, oh yeah, we'll take a look at this, or yeah, we'll submit the application. Mm-hmm. I want them to be a part of the whole thing, because we're buddies. It's like, let's do this together. Like, I'm in this with you.
I talked to. This is your quick buddy story here.
Yeah.
This is 12:20.
Okay.
But I had a guy this morning here that called in. He was on an Advantage plan. He wanted to get off, go to a supplement. He couldn't because he had health issues.
Right.
But he was like a big time, like, I've got money, like, I don't want to listen to you, blah, blah, blah. And he started talking, and I said something about going fishing. And he was like, well, where are you at? And I was like, hey, we're outside of Austin, Texas. He goes, yeah, I've lived down at off of South Congress before for a few years. He was like, I go to South by Southwest. And I was like, it's kind of at the end where I'm like, look, we have to see if we can get an SEP to do anything here. So it's kind of, just make a little repertoire. And he goes, yeah, man, boy, that Llano River out there, that fishing's pretty good, isn't it? And I go, shut up.
Really?
What? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I used to take my dog out there all the time and go fly fishing. And I was like, really? And then he goes, yeah, I'd fish there, and then I'd fish Rockport, Texas. And I'm like,
that's you. That's you.
I'm like, you are me.
Yeah.
Like, I am you. You are me here.
That's your routine.
And then he was like, yeah, man, so I got to run. I got to go catch something. And I go, why?
Yeah.
I was like, I even told him too. I was like, please don't leave.
Yeah.
Like, it's a joking, like friendly matter. And he was like, no, I got a doctor's appointment I got to run to. And I was like, when's your doctor's appointment over with?
I want to keep talking to you.
And he was like, we can't do anything medical. I was like, I don't care at this point.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And the coolest guys I ever talked to.
Yeah. We'll wrap up on this, but little cool note. I'm going to be taking Laura and Simone to Rockport this August. So this will be their first visit. So I'm going to need some fancy recs.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. What's the name of the restaurant you sent me to? That was off on the.
Oh Lord!
It was a small little joint.
Now you're gonna come out here.
Think about it.
It was a hamburger place.
Correct. Yes, delicious hamburgers.
There's no air conditioning.
Correct. We sat outside. Yeah. So, that's all in my pocket. All right. So, with that being said, guys, to review, building good habits. You want to create some habits for yourself that are going to stick with you, that are going to produce results. Yours was putting music in during the ringing. Mm-hmm. You know what I used to do? If I had a day where I had nobody pick up, I would call friends. Yeah. Like, hey, what's going on? Even if they're at work, I'd be like, hey, what's going on?
Call your mom.
Yeah.
Call your dad.
Just so I can remember how to converse.
Yeah.
But just build good habits. The second thing is build buy-in. Okay. Mm-hmm. You are a peer and you are talking to a peer. So in order for them to buy in, they need to trust you. So build that peer-to-peer relationship. And those are the things that we want you to work on today. So with that being said, that will conclude our dojo. Now, if you are a Medicare career agent, now's the time to log into your Zoom meeting, and we'll continue the conversation for Q&A at this time. So if you are not, thank you for joining. We will see you tomorrow. For those of you that are Gurus agents, we'll see you in just a few. Thanks.